Hey, how's it going, guys? Happy holidays, one and all. Hopefully, you are seeing this as it is due on Christmas Day. Someone in the last reaction, I think a couple of people, I think a few people did kind of say, it would be nice to, have this reaction on Christmas. I did not deliberately wait until Christmas or even Christmas Eve or whatever to actually get this video ready, but I the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what, maybe an Agents of Shield reaction for Christmas would not be the worst thing in the world, and kind of been kind of like trying to get through other stuff in the meantime too that I can hopefully get prepared both for the final week of the year and also in preparation to kind of boost my scheduling a bit more in preparation for the new year, and hopefully for the new year I can actually be a lot better at various things on the channel. So that is the hope. That is the hope and the dream. And don't know if I want to say it's the resolution because I don't know. I've sucked at resolutions for the last like 2 years. So who knows what resolutions I can actually succeed at this time round. But either way, I figured, hey, like this could actually make for a pretty neat kind of little kind of Christmas gift from me to you, like a gift from the writers to me, an episode, a reaction from me to you, a gift, it's like a cycle of of Christmas gifts and everything. So yeah, happy holidays, one and all. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you're having a great day or afternoon or evening wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And if you do celebrate Christmas, then happy holidays, happy Christmas. I hope you've had great, delicious dinners, and if you're having desserts and stuff, and you've had a great day. Regardless of whether you're by yourself or if you're with friends and family. Either way, hope it's been a great day for you. So happy holiday season, one and all. But yeah, Agents of Shield. Episode 5 now. We're on to episode 5. Episode 4, we had honestly a pretty dark one. A pretty dark one. Found out exactly kind of like at least so like a bit more of the extents that Cassius has gone to really try and control and oppress humanity, and that is both reducing humanity's ability to actually reproduce the way that they used to, but then also controlling the way they used to do it, so that from now on they only reproduce in human babies too. So yeah, reproducing babies with the inhuman gene within them, so that then Terrigenesis can actually activate them, and then he can actually then they can be raised slash trained within the lighthouse, and then as they grow older, once they reach a certain age, like 18 or something, they can be auctioned off to various bidders, and he can just kind of make money off of literal human trafficking and child trafficking and everything. So it's some really, really dark stuff. So we had that, and then we found out that parents literally do kind of buy babies on the lighthouse too, and Mac and Elena were kind of unknowingly sent to kind of threaten a guy who owed Gunner some money. Well, no, not Gunner. Grill. Gunner was the guy that they actually were sent to, but then Grill wanted money from him, so he sent Mac, and like Mac being nothing more than a beast to him, he sent Mac and Elena to actually threatened him into handing over the money, but then they found out that Gunnar was actually awaiting a package, but then the package was just like another word for like him actually awaiting a child being delivered to him and his wife and everything. So there was that, and then that kind of drew some darkness out of Mac, of him unknowingly kind of threatening him, then like threatening to remove the package and do some terrible things to the package. But then they found out that the package was actually a baby and stuff, and then some like things were said, and Mac lost his temper, and then kind of went down a bit of a dark path himself. But yeah, I think things aren't really gonna. I'm kind of doubting that things are gonna. I'm kind of doubting that things are really gonna pick up for them anytime soon. It just kind of feels like right now the team is headed down like a darker path on the lighthouse. They're like readapting, but they're also kind of learning new things about humanity's future that they just really don't like, and they really just can't get used to and everything. So I have a feeling that like the darkness that kind of picked up with season 4 is just gonna be picked up. It is actually gonna be carried on with this, and we're gonna be exploring all sorts of new things that are going to be hard to stomach, and it's going to really, put them through trials and tribulations of all sorts. So that should be fun to watch. But yeah, we had that stuff. We had Deke was paid in rhodium. Deke was paid in rhodium for actually having handed Quake over to Cassius and everything. So he got paid very nicely. But then in the end, by the end, Coulson did get his hands on the rhodium, and then they actually handed it to people who actually needed it more and who actually could use it more, which was actually Gunner and his partner. And and their child. Like, I mean, I keep switching between partner and wife. I know, but it's I don't know, like instinctive, kind of instinctively I say wife, but then I also kind of like be like, partner could also be applicable. Like, there's like, like, for all we know, there is literally no like likelihood, because I highly doubt the lighthouse has any kind of a chapel or any kind of like an actual ceremonial room. Like there is almost no likelihood that him and she are actually married or anything. So for all we know, they could just literally be, two humans who actually decided to get together and fall in love and have a baby, or even just, I don't know. Like, we honestly, like, socially, right? We have no idea. Like we have next to no idea what the positivity behind the culture of humanity is on the lighthouse. Like, if love still exists, if marriage still exists, if partnerships like these actually are legitimate, or if they're just kind of built for the sake of. I mean, it looked fairly legitimate between Gunnar and the woman, but still, I think, I mean, I won't lie. I've kind of been thinking about that too. Like, do couples still exist? Do thruples that exist? Do relationships that exist on the lighthouse? Is that kind of like fraternization kind of allowed between humans, or is Cassius going as far as actually deciding who can mate with who, or who can actually do certain things? Because I think they mentioned they sterilized humanity, but then they Deke also mentioned that like they did it to the food, but then they also kind of controlled who could and how they could have kids. So I think it's like the way they used to do it is no longer possible. But then if they do it, then it's up to Cassius who and how and when and probably even where. But yeah, it's just a whole stressful situation. So I think so that's all of that stuff. So then they gave the rhodium to the to Gunnar and his partner. So they gave it to them. Deke also revealed two kind of very interesting tidbits about himself too. He revealed that he is the last of he's one of the last kind of humans who were actually born naturally. Or he's like, yeah, like one of the kind of natural original kind of born kind of babies, like actually conceived and birth like the kind of older way on the lighthouse and everything. So he's one of the last. He's one of the last. I think I don't know if that's gonna bear some significance in terms of them actually being like in terms of there being others, or if he's just gonna be like it's just gonna be like a kind of random thing or something. But he's one of the last. So there was that, and also that I think his parents were at least like in some way connected to Shield. His parents, you know, his mother was originally, I think, like in some way connected to the elders, and she actually kind of helped them kind of echo the stories and the tales of Shield, and like helped actually kind of like spark hope for Shield's return and for people to actually kind of keep faith in Shield. And then she was among those murdered, and then his father picked up the torch after him, and then he was supposedly murdered too. But then yeah, Deke claims that he heard his father's voice on the radio, so his father is actually one of the people on the surface of the Earth, the new kind of destroyed Earth, who's actually still alive somehow and has actually been keeping in touch with Virgil. So yes, I think his parents were connected to Shield. Like Shield is somewhat in his ancestry. At least going back to his parents. I don't know if like if like maybe his elders could maybe some of the elders could have been like some deep like great grandparents or something. And like if maybe his mother was connected to them because they were her parents, or like if the elders were her parents or something, like maybe they were like older agents of Shield or something. So I mean, again, I really don't think they've actually mentioned how far into the future this is, or like how far back the elders are actually going. Like if they're still people who we haven't seen become agents of Shield yet in the present day, or if they actually are people that we know from the present or the past or something. So don't know if like the elders of Shield are people that we're meant to know or meant to recognize, or if they're just kind of like Shield agents from the future of us, but then still recognized as elders in this kind of future. So I mean, again, time travel is just it's like a again time travel. You know it. So yeah, it's trippy. So yeah, so there was that, and then the end. The ending. You guys saw the ending. Blew me to Kingdom Come and dragged me back into this chair right here, and left me shocked and bedazzled and everything. Oh boy, Scottish baby boy, Leopold Fitz. He made a magnificent, glorious return. He was wearing almost the exact same thing as Deke was the first time we saw him. The cool outer space, kind of Freddy look, outer space, kind of like leather jacket with the ascot, like the Freddy style ascot and everything. And then like he was on the same kind of, like kind of mask helmet thing that Deke had as well. So I don't know if that I mean. I don't know if that means that they've actually met before, or if like they just kind of somehow have similar styles, or if like, you know, I mean, a leather jacket in space is always gonna look pretty cool. So you know, there's that whole deal. But he showed up anyway, and he kind of he was there present at the auction to buy Quake, and then he, you know, literally called her the Destroyer of Worlds too, and then he claimed that she should fight to the death. So he clearly has some kind of a plan up his sleeve. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what that is. But yeah, that should be fun. That should be fun. So that will be cool to get into. But Fitz finally 4 episodes, and Fitz finally made a return. So hopefully this episode, I think this episode should either be his backstory as to what happened to him when the team got taken away by bald skin shedding dude, or it should be a mixture of both. Maybe something of him in the future with the team, with flashbacks interwoven into it and everything. So either way, it's going to be Fitz content, so I'm happy. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have got from the last one. So on to episode number 5, onto the reaction. And you guys know the drill. This one, just the fair use version with the highlights and best bits and everything. But if you want the unedited, uncut kind of full-length version of the episode with no edits or anything, then that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. But yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., episode number 5 of season 5. Let's go.
Hands in the air! Don't move!
Oh boy. Oh no, did they leave him to get arrested by the military?
Where are the other 6?
Oh, they left him to get arrested.
Where'd they go?
I don't know.
I didn't do anything! Something happened here! It wasn't me! I need to find her!
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. So they took them to the future, but they just left him to get arrested by the actual military.
We've read your dossier, Fitz. It's impressive.
The big bad brain of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Did you help them escape?
Gorgeous,
Some kind
good
new
brain
shield
of S.H.I.E.L.D. That doesn't even
How did you know they were
alliterate.
coming?
Still, I don't care.
Who the hell is in charge here?
Oh, Fitzy boy's getting angry. You wouldn't like him when he's
Well,
angry.
it's not General Talbot, since Agent Johnson put a bullet in his head.
LMD.
That was an LMD.
LMD.
Right.
Oh, they got him in an orange... Is he actually in prison? Is he in some kind of military prison? They've turned him into a frickin' what? A convict? He's a convict now, really?
Maybe we should let his brain work for us. Help us solve this thing.
What does he need?
Papers, pens, books.
And a TV. To watch soccer.
Damn, Fitz working out. He's gonna keep those muscles pumped. He's gonna keep those muscles pumped.
What are you doing?
Oh, he loves his monkeys. He loves his monkeys.
Or I helped him escape, or something worse.
So he doesn't remember the guy walking in and addressing Coulson?
Would you be able to post this?
A letter?
Worst keeper I've ever seen in my life.
It's a letter to a soccer fanzine. The least offensive part is when he calls the goalkeeper a Cro-Magnon twit.
Yeah, she has a complaint. Honestly, can't tell if the facial hair is stress from all of this or if it's actually just time being passed. And he's burning off that stress, clearly.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he's beast.
Free cat! I'm a referee, I ain't doing anything!
Pretty much all soccer fans during the World Cup, or at least all British soccer fans during the World Cup. No, he's got more complaints. He's got more complaints. Are these actually coded messages, or are they actually is he genuinely pissed off at the soccer team he's watching?
I think. No more thinking. You're out of time. We want an answer.
Okay.
Well, you need to think to get an answer.
By all means.
Your attorney is here.
His attorney.
Get those cuffs off my client and get the hell out.
They printed my letters in the last 6 issues. That whole bastard hooligan.
How many copies do you think are available in Bangladesh? None. As in 0. Since I heard you were missing, where did you get off on calling Liverpool a bunch of wankers?
Well, if you never win anything, then
Well,
how
at least we're not trying to buy our way back to glory.
do you not talk crap about Man U?
Me talking crap. Your letters were nothing but crap. All that stuff about the... How many European Cups have you won?
Oh, the boys are back together again.
Two, mate. It's good to see you. There'll be time
If you're bringing me Hunter back, you gotta bring me back Bobby. So you gotta bring me back my mockingbird. You gotta bring me back my Bobby. You gotta bring back Bobby.
So if you could visit 3 times.
Oh, has he got a scanner watch? Has he got a James Bond watch? I mean, he looks like he could easily pass for a James
I'm gonna
Bond.
need you to move
He
2
really
meters to your left.
could pass for a James Bond. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, he was making sure he was out the blast radius. Okay. Is he breaking him out? Yeah, that's very Hunter. That's very Hunter to shout with bombs and shit. Yeah.
The best getaway pilot money can buy.
Oh, you could have easily had Bobby flying it. Oh, that never would have happened if Bobby was flying it. That never would have happened if Bobby was flying it. Where Bobby? Where my Bobby? Where's my Bobby? Where's Bobby? I'm probably gonna keep asking that for a while, but still.
Except for the sexy robot that you made that became human once you said floppy in a love drive. Please.
Oh, that is such a Hunter thing. That is such a Hunter way to see it.
How are things with Bobby?
Yeah. We're 100% compatible. 50% of the time.
50%.
Nearly got married again.
Oh.
Until the ninjas showed up.
Ninjas?
You are together.
Together forever.
Ninjas?
Just
What ninjas?
doing our own thing.
Does he mean Black Widows?
Like spying on anyone he thought was spying on him. Which was everyone.
Oh, so he has surveillance equipment? Or like...
He can tap into surveillance.
Surveillance, yeah.
Yep.
Where is it?
At the back, behind the margarita machine and the ferret cages.
He has ferrets? Dude had ferrets? Damn, Fist looks good in flannel. Pretty damn good in flannel.
So the truck arrived at the diner just before they vanished.
It's the exact same make and model, just a different thing each time.
Ruddy bloody hell.
Ruddy bloody hell indeed.
Got you now.
Good to see the boys working together again. It's so good.
I've been expecting you.
No, we're here to surprise you, so act surprised.
There's no need for violence.
Where are they?
2091.
2091.
Birth year. 2091.
2091! They've been sent to 2091, so they're still within this kind of window of frame. Like, they're not like in the year 5 billion. 2091. Holy shit, 2091, wow.
I was sent here 30,000 years ago to observe and record the evolution of your species. What you would call an anthropologist.
He's a 30,000-year-old
My Earth name
anthropologist?
is Enoch.
Enoch.
I'm a sentient chronicom from a
chronicom.
planet which revolves around a star in the constellation you know as Cygnus.
This is a lot of information.
We'll just go with Enoch.
Enoch, okay. Nice to meet you, Enoch. Or kind of nice.
A prophecy in a monolith that sends you through time.
Well, you've dealt with monoliths before.
I don't think it's wise.
You don't think?
Oh god, Fitz. Fitz. Oh god, Fitz. Okay,
You're
Fitz.
gonna take me to whoever or whatever this year is, or your future ends now.
Oh my good Jesus, okay.
You're Polly Hinton.
Polly Hinton. Is this Robin? Wasn't that's Robin? Oh yeah, the guy who was a seer, the guy that died. Yeah, back in season 3. This is Robin, his daughter.
Must be Robin.
He gets the pictures from Robin. He gets the drawings from Robin. Yeah, that was a very childish artist. Oh damn, that is prophetic. That is prophetic. Oh, is that Earth being quaked apart? The crack through the Earth, yeah.
She's been very active lately.
Oh, I'll bet.
Quiet type, eh? Wish you could teach Bobby that. Get a drink in her and she's like a wind-up doll. You can't.
They're here for us.
Oh shit, they're here. Oh god. Oh, is he gonna paralyze them too? Is he gonna paralyze them? Yeah. Yeah, just cover it is, just, yeah.
You're coming with us, so don't even think about trying to run away.
Whoosh. Like magic. They're gone. They are the vanishers.
We just lost a half an hour of time.
Damn, they were stood there for like half an hour. Oh god.
What is it?
Unknown.
Who built it?
Unknown.
Unknown.
Yeah, everything he just, yeah. Just an encyclopedia of knowledge he is.
If she's able to predict and forewarn, she might be able to tell secrets. I want you to find her and control her. It's better she's on our side.
Oh,
We need every weapon in this fight.
Oh, you monsters. Just, wow, yeah, you meet someone with powers, a child, no less, and it's like, great, let's just weaponize her and make her fight for our battles.
Jem and I were there, holding hands. We had no idea.
You and Simmons?
Yeah.
They've been through it, but they're still strong.
Everyone knows. even looked for a place together.
Congrats, mate. I remember when you couldn't even admit that you liked her.
He's come so far.
Maybe it should have stayed that way.
The universe doesn't want or care about anything, and even if it did, why wouldn't it want you to be together? You two are so perfect for each other, it makes everyone a little bit lonely.
Maybe it's trying to protect her.
Got Enoch on the right page?
Yeah, well,
Enoch. It's a kind of funky name. Enoch.
Cold-blooded killer.
She doesn't say much at all. Not since Teragenesis.
Yeah, she's been through Teragenesis.
I found her in a state just like her father.
She was waiting to go through that.
I mean, she's still essentially a child, not even a teenager, a child.
He'd really like to know why he's not with them.
Because you have to save them.
He has to save them? From what? Whoa. What's that, the silence?
They're in trouble some 70 years in the future, and there's nothing I can do.
Have you heard of a place called Blue Raven Ridge?
You're joking.
What's wrong with Blue Raven Ridge?
Yeah, of course I know it. We just broke out of it.
Oh,
It's
it's...
they were holding you in.
Oh, that's where it is.
We're here to fix a hole in the wall.
IDs.
I preferred the cowboy accent from back in season 2. I preferred that.
Jimmy Futterman.
Jimmy
That's
Futterman.
us. You break it, we fix it, and charge you the military markup.
You charge extra for the accent?
He's extremely volatile and unpredictable. Screw up once, you can lose a limb.
Really?
Once we do this,
Bombs?
that's it.
They're gonna fire off like explosive
No turning
death
back.
rays or something? Oh no, is it ferrets?
Okay. Release the ferrets.
It's ferrets, it's fucking ferrets. I don't know what I would have preferred, ferrets or actual death rays, yeah. I just love how dramatic that was, like, yeah, now's the time, no turning back now. Release the ferret. Is this the capsule? So is it gonna preserve him? Is it gonna preserve him until 2091?
Sure, this is it.
Is he gonna be kept in like cryo? The Zephyr 1! They've got the Zephyr 1!
They're stuck 70 odd years in the future and our world's about to end. The odds, my friend, are not in your favour.
Are they ever?
Is Hunter not going with him? I feel like Hunter's not gonna go with him.
What the hell's going on here?
ISIS, oh! Yeah, yeah, the whole twisty turny route, oh.
Shouldn't you do the technical alone?
No, he's good with guns now. Fitz is good with guns, yeah. Oh, damn. Damn, he's just firing shots galore. He is full on Blaze of Fury. Blaze of Glory, even. I think it's Blaze of Glory.
But you have continually let me down. I don't trust you anymore.
Is she gonna kill them?
You're demoting us?
No.
She's killing them. Oh, she fully killed them. Damn. Not afraid to get their hands dirty. Probably speak for the whole squadron.
Team Shield will be fully armed.
He's gonna weaponize them once they get there. Now that then they can actually stage like a breakout from Cassius's grips. So he leaves it with Robin. So how does he get to Virgil then?
We'll look after those two. Bobby could use a good cause.
Bobby, yeah.
Thank you, Lance Hunter.
Well, guess this is it.
Just one
Had a hell of a
episode,
time as
really?
always.
Just one
Guess I
episode.
underestimated your odds.
Come on, hug it out, lads. Come on. Hug it out. Just give each other a good old cuddle, just for old time's sake.
Alright. Yep.
They're really Steve Rogersing him. They are really Steve Rogersing him in a much more official way.
I love you.
I know.
They're Star Warsing each other. They're Star Warsing each other. Oh, icy fits. Icy fits. Icy and icy fits. Icy fits. 365 million miles from the lighthouse. Jesus. This is on a spaceship. Oh, he's on the spaceship. He's on the spaceship orbiting the other planet. It would be so cool if Hunter was actually waiting for him on the other side too.
Rise and shine.
Rise and shine, cutie pie. Enoch stayed with him for 74 years. Enoch stayed with him.
While you were asleep, I had time to put a plan in motion.
Oh, I'll bet 74 fucking years, yeah. become Space Freddy. Become Space Freddy Jones. Oh, damn, those eyes. Those eyes. Oh, again, starring Nick Flood, yeah, Okay then, so interesting episode. I mean, very interesting. I honestly, when I open up these reviews, I honestly don't know like exactly how to describe them. I usually say like interesting or eventful or snappy or cool or something. It was definitely an interesting, as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes usually are. Very, very interesting. Oh god, I have no idea where to start with this. So yeah, Fitz was essentially left to get arrested by the military. I think that's where I actually start. So he was left to get arrested by the authorities that they were all originally there to be willingly arrested by. Anyway, but instead, Enoch, as we know him now, Enoch, he captured the rest of the team and then left Fitz behind to kind of be the actual kind of cannon fodder for the kind of other kind of earthly authorities instead. So then Fitz was captured by them. He was interrogated, and they even put him in like an orange jumpsuit and put him in like his own private kind of U.S. military prison cell as well. So I think he kind of probably likely became like a convict, at least for like a little while he was there. So yeah, that, and then they actually put him to work investigating exactly what happened to the team, how they were taken, where they were taken, and what happened to them. So he so for like a bunch of different books, and asked for like all sorts of different things, and even a TV to watch soccer. And then in the end, I think as was the inevitability, in the end he only really ended up getting pissed off at the football, and he ended up getting pissed off, and then ended up actually writing out some letters to, I think, the kind of like the football magazine as well. And I think again, I think they said that the from what they could see that the letters weren't coded, but I think maybe it wasn't coded with any actual specific. I think it wasn't coded. It wasn't coded in a specific spyware, but I think it was actually coded in a way that maybe Hunter himself could actually detect that this was there, and then maybe he just kind of understood. Maybe it was actually the phrasing itself that was coded, so maybe it wasn't like secret lettering or like secret symbols or invisible ink or any of that kind of classic spy stuff. It was literally it was literally just like him writing in a way that Hunter would recognize, and he would actually kind of like detect him and catch him in that kind of a cell. So I think I still don't know if that was actually intentional, if that was intentional, because I think he seemed super surprised that Hunter was there and everything. But don't know if he actually was reaching out to Hunter, or if maybe if Hunter just kind of caught wind of it and just kind of did it or something. So I'm just not sure. It's a lot to take in for the first time. It's a lot to take in. So some details, without a doubt, flew right past me, or I just kind of, didn't really kind of interpret them properly. So there is that. So yeah, but he was arrested by them, and he was put to work investigating. And I think over time he definitely put on the beard. He definitely put on that whole kind of prison facial hair type thing. So that definitely happened. And I think, I mean. Not to say that Ian can't grow a beard. I'm almost certain that Ian can grow a beard. I don't know if it can be to that extent or not, but I think I'm almost certain that Ian can grow a beard. But I think because of like the way that they actually might have executed that in real time, I'm wondering if maybe they actually did just kind of glue on bits of facial hair to him to actually kind of insinuate that. Because I think the chances of them actually waiting the months and weeks for him to actually grow that accurate, that kind of realistic of a beard might have been maybe a bit too much for them filming wise. So I'm wondering if maybe they maybe gave him like a week, and then maybe after that they actually did kind of glue bits of facial hair onto him to actually kind of give off that kind of passing beard look and everything. So yeah, I'm not sure, but either way, he spent time, and then he spent a considerable amount of time. He had like an entire wall, like most of the walls covered in all sorts of science equations and information, and his investigation information and everything, and then one wall just plastered with with marker kind of sketches of monkey faces and everything. So Fitz loves his monkeys. Fitz loves his monkeys. He is a big monkey fan. I think throughout the seasons, I'm pretty sure he's had various kind of references and various kind of little tidbits about monkeys and stuff, so he very much loves his monkeys. And then, of course, our returning guest of the hour, oh god, I thought, again, Fitz coming back was the reveal I was waiting for, but this is Trip was a reveal, like Trip, like the only other return I can think of like this, that I wasn't expecting. I don't think they'd actually bring them back. I didn't really think they'd actually veer back into this character. Is like, you know, Ward for one thing. Ward definitely, because I thought, you know, after season 3 we probably were done with Ward. So I think Ward was technically one of them. But then, you know, like Trip, we hadn't had him since season 2, so seeing him back in again at the end of season 4 was a surprise. But then with this too, with Hunter, like Hunter just came out of nowhere. Just didn't really. They mentioned attorney, right? They mentioned attorney, and you know, I immediately thought, like, you know, because I think again, like this being from like this season being from back in like 2016, maybe 17 and stuff, and then, you know, like me still being here consuming present day newer Marvel products too. I think, you know, like they said attorney, like they said your attorney is here, so then immediately my mind jumps to thinking of like, okay, who is an actual attorney in the MCU or even in the Marvel universe that they can actually bring into this? And I was like, first I was like, Matt Murdock. Okay, that, I mean, you know, Daredevil definitely would have been released around the same time as this. Again, that feels so unlikely, but it's just like, oh my god, if they actually, like, you know, again, if they actually got that crossover to happen, then it's like, I mean, because they do essentially exist in the same universe, because Matt and Daisy grew up in this exact same orphanage. Matt and Daisy grew up in the exact same orphanage. I'm pretty sure. I mean, look, even if people are divisive about whether or not the movies connect to the TV shows, I feel like the TV shows connecting to each other is a lot more plausible. I feel like the TV shows connecting to each other is like miles more plausible. I think, you know, I mean, at this point, you can just, at this point, I don't, I mean, you know, me myself, like, kind of see. I think it's not a good discussion I'm going to get into right now, but you know, whether or not you believe this stuff is canon is honestly up to you at this point. As of right now, in terms of this discussion, I could care less what people think about connectivity between the movies and TV shows, but you know, I believe it's there. I believe the connectivity is there, however vague or however transparent. But the TV shows to each other, like the Marvel Netflix stuff to the actual TV, like the actual network stuff. You know, I feel like that stuff should, can be and should be a lot more connected and like a lot more visibly connected than the movies. So because of that, I feel like it could have been incredibly plausible that Matt Murdock. I mean, he probably wouldn't. I don't know if he would show up in that instance, because I mean, he might do. I feel like he might do. I feel like it's a lot more plausible for Matt Murdock to have shown up. I mean, I'm gonna get to Hunter. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to Hunter. But still, I feel like it's a lot more plausible for Matt Murdock to show up than it is for Jennifer Walters. I think the other thing I was thinking of was, oh, Jennifer Walters. She's also like an attorney, but then now she's also gonna be like a lot more of like an MCU specific and MCU strong kind of attorney character too, and she also specializes. I think she specializes in, but I don't know if that means she deals exclusively with them. But I think she specializes in superhero cases. But I don't know if that means that she deals with them exclusively, or if that's just where her kind of forte is. But you know, either way, like I think Jennifer Walters was another one, but then she would not be introduced this far back. So I think, you know, Matt Murdock would be a crossover. That would be a crossover. But then, of course, Attorney was also just, you know, Hunter using a cover. It was just Hunter using a cover. But yeah. Lance Hunter. We got our second favourite British boy, Lance Hunter, returning to us. So he showed up looking dapper as hell with glasses and a suit. I mean, he could have easily passed off like a slightly nerdy James Bond. He could have easily. But I mean, feels weird applying nerdy just because there's glasses, but still. He could have easily been passed off for like a bespectacled or is it spectacled? I think like a spectacled James Bond. He could have easily passed off as a James Bond. I feel like Nick Blood could I feel like Nick Blood could easily play James Bond. I feel like Nick Blood could easily play James Bond. He has the sass for it. He has the charisma. I don't know if he's a bit more charismatic than James Bond needs to be, because I think he has a lot of sarcasm to him. I think him as Lance Hunter, like I think Lance Hunter has like a lot of sarcasm and like a lot of sass to him and stuff, and he has a lot of like kind of like a carefree charisma to him. So I feel like he like that might be a bit too much for James Bond, but I think he could easily tone that down. I think it just overall he definitely has that kind of cool kind of like you know, like womanizing spy kind of essence to him that James Bond kind of has always had and everything. So he could easily play James Bond, but I think with this, like seeing him dress up in a suit and stuff, and he's already used to like spy drama action type stuff, so you could easily go for that and everything. So I mean, hey, maybe in the future, maybe at some point, Nick Blood as James Bond. I mean, I haven't really watched any of the James Bond movies. I mean, I wouldn't say I've never been a fan. I've really just never gotten into James Bond that vividly or that fluidly, so I can't really kind of call myself a James Bond fan, so don't know, but I think he could easily go for it. But yeah, but Lance Hunter came back to us, so that was a surprise return as ever. That was a great Christmas present. That was a great Christmas present from the writers and makers of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to me, and my reaction to that was a gift to you. So yeah, happy Christmas, happy holidays. But yeah, Lance Hunter was given back to us, was ever so graciously given back to us. You know what? I really wish we could have had Bobby back. I really wish. I mean, I mean, at this point, I can't help but wonder why they didn't bring her back for this. Because I think, again, this would have been. I think seeing him back here now makes me feel like it would have been after they maybe scrapped it. Because I get the feeling they brought him back here as a one final gift. Because I definitely get the feeling this might have been after. I definitely get the feeling that this might have been after they scrapped the Most Wanted series that they actually had planned for Bobby and Hunter, where like they had that whole kind of series planned for them after their exit from the show back in season 3. So I feel like it might have been after that. So then this might have been like one final gift from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to the viewers who loved Bobby and Hunter. Like it might have been one gift to them, but then even then they just couldn't bring Bobby back in for whatever reasons. I think I'm wondering then, is it that Adrienne Palicki didn't want to come back, or that they just couldn't bring her back, or like was she busy with something else, or because I'm not really aware of anything else that she's been in after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think probably John Wick. John Wick. Maybe I don't know. When did John Wick come out? When did John Wick actually come out? Let me actually look that up. When did John Wick come out? The first one, because I think she was in the first one, but then I think she died in the first one. I think John Wick 2014. 2014. Okay, I don't think this necessarily is that far back into. I think 2014. No, I think 2014. No, I think season 5 wouldn't have been 2014. No, I think more. Season 3 would have been. I think. I don't know. Actually, no. I think. Well, I don't know. I think either way. I think. No, because I think they did shoot a pilot. I think it was actually like a year ago. I think it actually I think it popped up online on Twitter or something. I think I actually saw someone reposting like a BTS clip of the pilot. I think they got as far as shooting a pilot. I think they actually got fairly deep into development. I think they actually shot a pilot for it, but then I think producers or execs kind of didn't really like it. They didn't really kind of take too much of a time to it, so then it never aired, and then eventually the project was shelved or scrapped or something. So I think they actually got as far as shooting like most of, if not all of, like an actual pilot for the show, but then it actually never got aired. So I think I think that alone, like getting that far, would have taken them like a year or two at least. So then they actually got they actually did spend some time on it, but then it never really kind of went anywhere. So I don't know if John Wick would have been before or after that project. I think it might have been. Maybe before it, if like season 4, no, season 3, because season 4 would have been around 2016, because that's when Ghost Rider started, and that was when Doctor Strange was happening, so that would have been about 2016. Then John Wick 2014. So I think that definitely would have come after. That definitely would have come before it. So then yeah, I'm pretty sure she dies in the first one, right? I'm pretty sure she dies in the first one, and then I'm not really sure of what else she's been in after that. But either way, I don't know. Maybe they didn't call her. I mean, if they didn't call her back, then that just kind of feels wrong to call Nick back, but not to call her back. Because then they were both pretty integral in their own rights. But I mean, at the very least, they didn't mention her. They didn't mention her, so there was that. But yeah, I think either she didn't want to come back, or maybe I don't know. Because I think it was all. I think it's also only really one episode. So I think maybe she wanted to. If she was gonna come back for anything Marvel, then she would want to do it in something worthwhile and something more kind of fruitful. But damn, I missed Bobby. I missed her. I mean, I miss her pretty much. I have missed her and Hunter pretty much every day since they've actually since they've left the show. But seeing this, as good as seeing Hunter was, as so gosh darn good as it was having Hunter back in this episode, it just kind of made me miss Bobby even more. Like just like actually having to deal with her not being there too, because they are both like an iconic duo of their own. As good as they are individually, they are also both an iconic duo on their own. And also, like this is the first time we're having Hunter back since he left, and then him and Bobby did leave at the around the same time, so not having her back just kind of feels weird, and kind of makes me wonder what she's really up to and everything. So is that? But he did mention it. He did mention he mentioned that they almost got married again. They almost got married again, and then they were. I think he was very. I think I don't know if it was me failing to understand what he was saying, or if it was actually him being really vague and being really kind of like jumpy about the way he described them. But I think he said like like they were still going strong. They almost got married, and then the distance was their savior, and they were actually working long distance. I think he was saying like a lot of different things that even it looked like even Fitz was it looked like even Fitz was struggling to decipher what he was actually trying to say, or what he was meaning by their new relationship. But either way, I think like whatever they did was apparently working for them, so that much was commendable. That much is commendable. But yeah, like he mentioned that they were in like long distance for a bit, and that was apparently distance was their savior. And I think I mean knowing Hunter and Bobby, I think distance probably would kind of work out well for them, and knowing them being together too long, because they literally their last episode, a lot of it was or at least like part of it was him talking about like how they needed a vacation more than anything. Like them working with Shield was fun and all, but then they actually need like some time away from Shield and like an actual vacation to be people and everything. So then finally then they got their actual big leave from Shield, they got their final they finally got their big leave from Shield, which was then turned into like a more permanent exit to help maintain national security and stability and all that kind of crap. So there was that, but then actually hearing that there's actually something, I think, because then I couldn't tell if he meant that they were actually taking a break but still involved somehow, or if they're actually still kind of like long. Maybe them still. I mean, because I think he didn't really kind of. I mean, he said he had been doing mercenary work, but he didn't mention anything about Bobby. So I think I think it's safe to assume that, especially if they feel like they can actually avoid kind of overseeing eyes from governments and want other people who want them dead and arrested and all that kind of stuff. Then if he thinks that being split up might make it easier on them, because then if they're together, then it's easy to catch them both in one go. But then if they're apart, then they can easily watch their own six and actually keep some kind of contact on each other. And maybe they're still doing their own kind of heroic mercenary work. Mercenary. Deadpool's an anti-hero. I mean, he's an anti-hero, but he still kind of tries to do good by people. I guess maybe. In Hunter and Bobby's case, it would definitely be work that actually helps people and actually them trying to do some good and stuff while still trying to provide for themselves and still trying to make a living and everything. So it would definitely be that kind of heroic mercenary work and everything. So that would be that would definitely work. But I think maybe just with like some long distance with them being countries apart or something. So there's that. And then the thing that got me, he mentioned ninjas. So I don't know if he means literal ninjas from actual Japanese culture and maybe some actual Japanese ninjas being sent after them, or if he meant ninjas in like a much more kind of like a kind of like a throw, like a slap on label kind of way, like, oh, they fight really well and they're stealthy and they move quickly and they're very, very kind of ominous and intimidating. So then he just immediately thinks they're ninjas, because I think when he mentioned ninjas, I don't know why, but I pictured the Black Widows. I literally pictured Black Widow assassins. I think even in Civil War, I think in reference to Black Widow, I think Scott says like like Hawkeye told him about some like psycho assassins and everything. So I think I kind of like immediately picture that, like, oh, he says ninjas. I just kind of picture Black Widow assassins. To begin with, and I think I can't really think of any other. There are actual. In the Marvel Comics universe, like there are actual ninjas. I think the Hand might count as ninjas. I think, well, again, if they're connected, if this show is connected to the Netflix universe and they're connected to Daredevil, then maybe the Hand, maybe they get involved with the Hand. I feel like that's a bit of a reach. I can't help but imagine. I can't help but wonder if he actually does mean actual ninjas, then the Hand would match that description perfectly. The Hand has a lot of ninjas and has a lot of kind of those kinds of fighters and soldiers at their disposal. So if in the middle of their mercenary work they actually got involved with the Hand somehow, they actually kind of came into crossfire with the Hand, and that would be one hell of a fight. So him saying ninjas kind of like the Hand would fit that perfectly. But otherwise the only other thing I can really kind of picture is either Black Widow assassins or genuine ninjas from some other kind of underground criminal kind of ring or something. So either way, they've been having the time of their life fighting and being mercenaries and, you know, just kind of keeping things long distance and everything. So Bobby was mentioned. And she was talked about and she was, you know, explaining everything. So yeah, even if she's not here, in physicality, she's here with us in spirit form, as tall, got blonde and gorgeous as ever. So yeah, just it's missing Bobby hours. It's missing Bobby hours, but still appreciating Hunter hours. Hunter is always appreciated. Well, whenever Hunter shows up, I mean, this will probably be this is likely to be like I get the feeling this is likely to be the one and only time we actually see him here, but still, it's just, you know, it's always appreciating Hunter hours whenever he shows up, but still missing Bobby hours. So sucks to think that we'll never see her again, but at least we got Hunter for this one episode, so it was really cool. It was really fun seeing him back, and even him, initially him walking in and having that great big kind of argument with Fitz over the football teams and him slandering Liverpool and everything. But then, of course, them just immediately going into like a hug, like, yeah, I hate you, but I missed you too, and him just kind of like drawing Fitz in for a hug, and them actually having their proper reunion and everything was really cool. So yeah, I think just bringing that whole, because I think if there's one person that Fitz has an equally good bromance with compared to Mac, it's Hunter. I mean, Fitz and Mac is one thing. Fitz and Mac have a hell of a bromance, but then Fitz and Hunter, they have that that classic kind of, I don't want to say British. I don't want to say British. I don't want to say British just because they are British, but then they like their bromance, and their bromance does have an element of British to it, even though one's from England and one's from Scotland and everything. Is like it has that element of British. It has that element of Britishness to it and everything that kind of spices things up just like a little bit more. But overall, they just have that kind of, you know, they have big kind of back and forth husband energy. I think Fitz and Mac have the kind of obvious bromance thing going on where they're like, you know, like it was like a big bro and little bro just kind of broing it out and being bros and everything. But then Fitz and Hunter, I'm actually not sorry. They have the kind of back and forth kind of husband and husband kind of dynamic that just really works well for them, and it's really fun and really hilarious to see and everything. Like not even in like a fully romantic way. I think some people might see it in a fully romantic way. If you do, well, I do. But I think for me, it's like it's not even in like a fully romantic way. It's just like they just have big husband energy between the two of them. Like they both kind of don't like, they both constantly bicker. They're both constantly arguing. They both kind of, you know, they just have that kind of energy towards each other too. They have that kind of platonic kind of interest and platonic kind of love towards each other that just kind of like gives off that kind of like husbandy kind of energy, and it's great. It's honestly so fun to watch. I think part of it is also is also knowing that to this very day, Ian DeKuyster and Nick Blood are just such great pals. They're honestly such great friends. They're so closely connected. They're really cool with each other, and then they're still kind of in constant contact with each other to this day too. You know, and actually I remember seeing a clip of Nick Blood on one of Elizabeth Henry's podcast thingies, like the Live with Lil podcast that she does. And I think he actually showed a picture of them dressed up for as the same kind of person for Halloween or something, or like for some kind of event or some kind of gathering. And he was like, oh yeah, me and Ian actually end up coordinating our outfits quite a bit every time we meet up. So I think Ian DeKuyster and Nick Blood honestly just like such good friends in real life. And I think it translates so well onto the show. Like even for this one episode, it actually translated really well onto the show too. So I think a lot of the husband energy could be coming from that too. It could be coming from that. But yeah, no, they just have such a great dynamic. They just have such a great working dynamic. It's such a great working dynamic. So such a great working relationship and a working friendship and everything. Like they just mesh and blend so well together. It's just really believable and really fun to watch. So they are great. They are honestly really great. So yeah, and even that ending between them was perfect. That ending was perfect. Like Hunter's final like I love you, and then Fitz just kind of snorting and be like, yeah, this guy's really going for a Star Wars reference, and he's like, you know, I know, don't worry, I know. Who could resist? Who could resist loving Fitz? So yeah, just a perfectly placed Star Wars reference. One that Coulson would be proud of. He'd be like, you know, my boy is making a Star Wars reference before never seeing each other again for like 70 years. So yeah, Fitz and Hunter, a duo for the ages, a duo for the absolute ages. So yeah. And I think this episode also kind of had there's like that one kind of line of dialogue he had that like I think the kind of an analysis of the analysis of why they left him behind too, why they left Fitz behind, and Fitz being like, you know, maybe it's because of who he was in the framework of what he was. Maybe he's a threat to the team. Maybe he's a threat to Gemma. So he himself is still lauding that kind of trauma and that kind of darkness over himself, and even his darkness of actually kind of like actually pinning Enoch down to the table and actually holding a gun to his head and being like, you know, you either give me the answers I want or your time on Earth ends today. You know, you can say goodbye and call it a day at 30,000 years and everything. So, you know, I think in the moment, even then, that darkness was powered by his need and his drive to actually see his family again and to actually get back to the team again and to actually see Gemma again. So it wasn't really powered by any of the evilness and any of the actual kind of cold darkness that the Doctor had in the framework or anything. But it was still, you know, I think it was still kind of like reminiscent enough, and even Hunter seeing Fitz in that position because I don't think Hunter's like well, no, I think Hunter has definitely seen Fitz angry, but he's never seen Fitz actively threatening someone, actively being that kind of that dark towards someone. I think he's definitely seen Fitz angry and lashing out. He damn near stopped Fitz from charging at a ward on a Quinjet and everything, but he's never seen him actively pinning someone down and threatening their life at gunpoint or anything like that. So that's a very new kind of view for him to see Fitz from. So he even he himself kind of questions that, like, you know, are you okay? Is there anything you want to talk about? Is there anything you want to get off your chest? Is it like, you know, there's stuff happen? And then I think you know, I think over time kind of both off and on screen kind of Fitz kind of takes time to kind of like semi-explain what happened in the framework and how that changed him and how it changed the team and everything, and then the fact that he was so willing to actually take full responsibility, but then the team insisted on actually being a team and actually taking the fall with him for whatever happened and everything. So he, for that added weight too, he doesn't really feel like he deserves them, but then he also does want to actually, he does want to get them back, and he does want to make sure that they're safe, and then he also wants to make sure that they're not paying any extra penance for what he should be paying for. He doesn't believe that you know, if they were taken because of him, then they absolutely should not be paying any kind of extra punishment or any extra penance for the crimes for the sins that he committed. So he believes that too. And honestly, thinking about it now, I think especially his interrogation, like his initial interrogation, like him explaining that he didn't kill, him explaining that he didn't kill Radcliffe, and then him explaining that he like him being interrogated, him being a prisoner, him being interrogated. Like I think it had, like, you know, it had pretty kind of eerie, kind of No Way Home vibes, like, you know, like Peter being arrested by the DoD. The Department of Damage Control, the DODC, like him being arrested by them, and then him being interrogated by them, and him having to convince them that he didn't kill Mysterio, the drones did, and then, you know, like you know, Fitz having to convince them that he didn't kill he didn't kill Radcliffe, but then he also, like, he was, you know, he was at least partially responsible. He was partially responsible for the development of Ada, but not the creation. The creation was solely Radcliffe's idea, but then Fitz kind of like he then revealed the idea to Fitz, and then Fitz kind of helped him develop it further on. And the framework was also his idea too. Like the framework was the one thing that Fitz actually helped kind of create and then actually develop further on. But then Ada kind of became what she became, and she took control of it and everything. So he kind of like in his own kind of stage of kind of self-pitying and self-blaming, he kind of is kind of taking like a little bit of everything and actually blaming it all on himself and everything. So had kind of like slight-ish kind of No Way Home. But I think it could also just be because I've seen No Way Home, and then that kind of reminded me of that. But then still, it just kind of like has those kind of similar-ish kind of vibes. So that was there too. So there was that. But yeah, but I think I am curious as to like just how long how much of the season 4 kind of darkness and how much of the framework trauma Fitz is going to carry into this season with him. I think once he gets to the team, then what then is he going to try and get them to safety and then leave them alone, or is he going to try and be with them, or is he going to like do something else, or what's going to happen? So curious to see just how much the framework might have changed Fitz for this season and how much it might have affected him and everything, and seeing how kind of Ian actually kind of like goes into actually playing that side of Fitz off as well, actually because like, you know, he's you know, like the past I think the past 3 seasons he's been through a fair enough amount of different struggles and hurdles and everything. So seeing how the frame. I think he was. I think it was also. I think he also meant. I think he also did mention that he actually it was. I think it was kind of like a cool kind of callback as to him mentioning that, you know, he actually did suffer like an actual kind of brain damage after effects from his time having been, you know, in the ocean, and then actually him having the his kind of mental kind of health issues in season 2 after that too. So I think he actually did kind of like mention that he was actually previously also affected mentally due to an injury from that too. So there's a that that was still like a albeit a minor one. It was still a cool callback to have, to actually to have that tie into any after effects that he might have from the actual framework thing. Because then his main issue then was that, you know, I think whatever that paralysis whatever the kind of like the freeze frame paralysis device that Enoch used did to him, I think it made him black out too, because then he never once mentioned actually seeing Enoch walk, like even seeing like a man walking to the diner and actually addressing Phil and then freezing everyone. Like he never mentioned any of that. Like it's like he blacked out from the moment that he walked in, and then he kind of zoned back in once the team was left behind, once the team was taken away, and then he was left behind to be captured by the authorities and everything. So he just kind of like had no memory of anyone coming in before the army did, and doing that kind of stuff. So then he kind of like I think he then theorized that the framework might have actually kind of damaged him in all the ways that he feared it would damage May to begin with and everything. So a lot of stuff kind of gone down. So it was cool to see some kind of actual exploration of Fitz's kind of psyche and his mental state kind of being explored in this in even in kind of partial ways. So really kind of curious to see how that kind of gets carried forward into the future. So yeah, that should be cool. That should be cool. And then yeah, we met Enoch. That is a funky name. That is honestly, I'm like, that is actually quite a snappy name. Enoch. How many? I think that's Enoch. That's just 2 syllables, right? I'm pretty sure it's 2 syllables. I think Enoch. I think that yeah. Enoch. Yeah, like two. I think that should be 2 syllables. Yeah, it's a cool name. It's a funky space name, Enoch. So sounds like he should come with something at the end too, like Enoch the messenger, or Enoch the deliverer, or Enoch the something. It sounds like he should come with something at the end, but Enoch alone sounds pretty cool too. But he is a Chronicon. I have no idea what the fuck that is. But he is a Chronicon, so that's cool. And he is he arrived on, he's not specifically 30,000 years old, but he arrived on Earth 30,000 years ago, and he is what he said he said, I am what you would call an anthropologist. So he was sent to Earth to document and record human evolution and human kind of outreach and the way that humanity expanded over the years and everything. So I think 30,000 years ago, so it's a pretty decent chunk of time to record and I think hopefully not evaluate humanity, because humanity did like a lot of kind of, you know, good, bad, and grey kind of shit. So hopefully not evaluate them, but just to kind of record them and see who they were and how they were and what they were and what they were up to and everything. So I'm really curious what kind of stuff he would have recorded then in those 30,000 years, if there's other kind of enhanced kind of superhero stuff. Because I think that makes me think about the Eternals, because the Eternals have been here, I think, because I think they mentioned that they were there 7,000 years, I think. I was thinking, or at least, I can't remember how much time she said in the movie, because in the trailer she said we came here 7,000 years ago, but I think I can't remember if that was actually different in the movie or if it was actually the same as the trailer, because I think she said 7,000 years. But then yeah, because then I think it's in ancient Mesopotamia. I think I need to watch the movie again when it comes out on Disney Plus. I'm when the movie comes out on Disney Plus, I am looking to do a movie rewatch of it. So keep an eye out for that. I love the Eternals. If you couldn't already freaking tell, I loved it to bits. But I can't remember. I think there was like an actual location card for it. I think when they first showed up on Earth, I think it might have been ancient Mesopotamia. So I don't know if that was still counting 7,000 years ago, or if it would actually be even longer than that. But I think in the trailer she mentioned 7,000 years ago. But then in the actual movie, I don't know if she actually maintains that figure, or if it's actually like a different number she uses. But it does make me wonder, like, if he's been around to witness the Eternals, or if he's actually been around to kind of like see them too. Because then he was sent here to record human evolution, but then the Eternals were sent to protect humans from deviants, but then also to actually guide humans along. They're the Eternals were sent to actually guide humans along to actually create inventions for them, to protect them from deviants, and to, you know, protect them from any deviant incited kind of conflicts, and to actually kind of help humans along with new inventions and new innovations, and to help guide them along too, and actually to help maintain, not specifically to maintain peace, but to actually maintain human evolution and kind of like continued human survival along the timeline of Earth and everything. So, you know, again, that would be kind of, you know, that would be dependent on whether you see any connectivity between the movies and the TV shows. But still, I think it's fun. I think even if you don't, it's still fun to think about. I think, regardless of whether or not you consider any kind of canon connection between the movies and TV shows, it's still super fun to think about. Like, to actually think about exactly how the characters would actually cross paths and how they would connect and how they would actually do certain things. I think, you know, it's cooler to think about how the characters would connect and to kind of imagine how the characters would connect than to kind of debate whether or not anything's canon or, you know, anything like that. Because I think nowadays, after the Hawkeye thing, after the whole Hawkeye finale, and because I actually just I think it's slight kind of little tangent, which, I mean, again, my mind full of thoughts isn't really kind of, you know, surprising. Slight tangent from the Enoch thing. I didn't know. I actually didn't. I did not catch the 19 on the inside of the watch. I only really clocked the shield logo. I didn't really actually see that there was a 19 at the bottom of the shield logo. So apparently, Agent 19 in the comics is Bobby Morse, aka Mockingbird. So apparently, that whole kind of that whole reveal has sparked a whole discussion as to what Marvel are doing with Laura not only being an ex-SHIELD agent, but also having been Agent 19, who is supposed to be Mockingbird. So apparently she was also like potentially like an actual previous holder of the Mockingbird mantle when she was at SHIELD. So then that would imply she was a field agent, and that's how she met Clint. So there's that. But then people actually, you know, really kind of divisive, and then you got like you know, people kind of, you know, saying that this kind of the people who, for whatever reason, I honestly don't know why people hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think there are some people out there who simply casually insist that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can't be canon, but then there are others who vehemently, for whatever reason, they vehemently hate the show and really insist that it's not canon. So I don't know why anyone hates this show, because it's easily one of the best things that Marvel has put out, and it's like, you know, if you, I think, slow burn and stuff aside, if you actually give the show a chance, it will really capture you in ways that you least expect. It's honestly just solid gold from start to finish, or at least from start to where I am now. But, you know, again, I think that reveal has sparked quite a bit of debate between people. Yeah, what was I originally talking about? I was talking about Enoch, and then I got to this. I think, yeah, so Eternals, and yes, I think it's fun to think about. I think regardless of whether or not you see a connection between the movies and TV shows, and regardless of how strong you see that connection between the movies and TV shows, I think more than anything, it's interesting and it's fun to see that connection actually happening, and to see it, and to think about what that connection could mean for the future too. It's actually fun to think about, like, how those kinds of two properties could actually cross over and connect and everything. So Enoch being here to record human evolution, and then the Eternals being here to actually help influence human evolution, and to actually guide them, and to actually help kind of move them along without interfering and without intervening in anything non-deviant related and everything. So it's fun to think about Enoch. I think both Eternals and Enoch being from ancient alien planets, and being pretty, I mean, because he's lived this long too. I think he looks fairly kind of old. I think something tells me he looks exactly the same as he did back then too. Like he literally hasn't aged, because I think he was built that way too. So I wonder, could he be he either ages really slowly, or he's not human. Because in Chronicom, I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound. I mean, it's obviously not human. But I think it also doesn't sound. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like a robot. I think it gives off like androidy vibes, like Chronicom, I mean. Well, honestly, Chronicom, it sounds like Omicron. Chronicom, saying it again and again, Chronicom sounds more and more like Omicron, the newest kind of COVID variant. Chronicom, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Chronicom, yeah, it sounds very, very kind of techie and very, very kind of cyborgy, or like androidy. So I don't know if he's actually meant to be an android. I mean, he sheds his skin. dude sheds his skin and he just grows a whole new thing. So I think he must be some kind of like an android or like a cyborg or something. You know, I mean, maybe not a cyborg because I think cyborgs have visible robot parts. Like Deathlock. Deathlock was a cyborg, and then you know he had like a visible eye and very visible very visible kind of robot-y parts and everything. So he was a cyborg. I think Chronicoms might be androids. I think Enoch might be an android. So I think Chronicoms could be androids maybe. So maybe that's what they are. But yeah, he's a Chronicom. So he's I think he said he's from the constellation Cygnus. I think he's from like a constellation millions of miles away from us. I think he's from the constellation of Cygnus or something. So he is from there, and he was sent here. So he yeah, so yeah, Enoch and Eternals could be a thing. Maybe they could cross over at some point. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could have crossed over. Maybe they could have interacted at some point. So it's fun to think about. So, but I do wonder then if he is gonna be an android. Is he gonna be like? I mean, because he doesn't. I mean, he does have definitely like an actual robotic kind of delivery and like a demeanor about him. Like he definitely does have that kind of a vibe. But I do wonder if he's actually going to be like very, very android, if he's going to be like, maybe if he's, I don't know. I mean, personality wise, at least he, like, so far he does seem like a, you know, he seems like, he reminds me of Brainiac from Supergirl, actually. He reminds me of Brainiac 5. He reminds me a bit of, like Brainy from Supergirl. Because then, you know, even if he, I mean, because, I mean, Brainy is techno-organic. He's techno-organic. He has technological things about him, but then he's also, like, part organic, too. So he is part Coluan. But I do wonder then if, like Enoch is going to be that same way, too. Like, maybe if part of him is going to be organic, but then also part of him to, you know, to give him whatever other abilities or other preservations he has, then maybe he's actually going to be part technological too. I mean, if he can shed his skin and then just put like a whole, I mean, I wonder if he actually sheds it, because he took it off, but then we never saw him growing it back on. So I wonder then if he actually just kind of, if it's a really weird thing, like if he takes his skin off, and then he goes in the shower and cleans what's underneath, but then comes back out, and instead of putting clothes back on, he just puts his skin back on again, because I think it doesn't really seem like, I think he tore his skin off as like a one whole skin suit. It's not like it's not like he literally tore bits of his skin and like patches of his skin and patches of his face, and it was all torn up and like unusable again. Like he literally took his skin off as like one whole kind of skin suit and threw it onto the batch of clothes and everything, took a shower, and then came back out and actually had the same skin again. So I wonder maybe if it's like an actual skin suit. Like maybe if he's like a Slitheen, like if he actually has like a zip in his forehead or something, and he just kind of like tears his skin off, and then because then they can put their skin suits back on and everything. So maybe if he's like a Slitheen, just without the little green alien underneath, or the, you know, big green alien underneath. So he just takes his skin suit off, has a shower and cleans whatever's underneath, and then comes out and puts his skin back on and puts a suit on and everything. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's less skin shedding and more just kind of temporary skin removal, temporary skin suit removal. Maybe he's wearing a skin suit. Maybe he's literally wearing a skin suit, and whatever's underneath is kind of like a techno-organic kind of mixture of Chronicom goodness and Chronicom matter and everything. So yeah, that's Enoch. That is Enoch. Can't wait to see more of him. Cannot wait to see more of him. So yeah. And he had a way to keep Fitz undercover too. And he had a way to keep Fitz under kind of, you know, he put Fitz in cryo. So the plan was for Fitz to actually stay in cryo. I think he did. I don't remember if I had a theory before about how Fitz would reach them. I can't remember if I actually mentioned cryo before, if I actually mentioned him actually living all that time and actually waiting until he got to the future. But either way, I'm really curious, because I think now we know, like, that they Captain America'd him in like a much less improvised way, because with Cap, no one expected him to survive. He didn't even expect to survive. He just kind of crashed it and gave his life to stop those bombs from getting to the cities and everything. So like him getting he would have been frozen. I think, you know, he would have been frozen anyway, but I think him having the serum was what kept him alive. So him having the serum kept him alive, even in the ice, because you know, otherwise he would have very easily frozen. I feel like otherwise he would have very easily like frozen to death and everything. But then with him, he was kept under the ice, and then the serum kept him alive and everything for all those years. But with Fitz, I think when it comes to cryo freeze, that when it comes to cryo freeze, I feel like it's actually like less lethal temperatures. I think I feel like it's actually less lethal temperatures. I think it's actually like enough to keep you frozen and to keep you kind of keep your aging and everything on pause, but then it's not enough to actually kind of freeze you to death and actually keep your body from functioning as it should be and everything. So either way, he was put into cryo freeze and everything. So that would keep him asleep for 74 years and keep him trapped in the future thing. So now I wonder, is Hunter dead? Are Hunter and Bobby dead? And then they dead after all those years? Because I mean, for one thing, the Earth was destroyed, so everyone else who didn't make it off is dead probably. Because then I don't know if Deke mentioned whether or not all of humanity had moved to the bunker. If maybe some people didn't make it. Maybe some people actually didn't end up dying when the Earth was destroyed or something. But either way, I think I've made up. I'm hoping. I mean, maybe Bobby and Hunter could have been. Oh, but I mean, if they were, I think I was gonna say maybe Bobby and Hunter could have been elders of Shield. But if they were, then they're either dead or on the surface of the Earth. They're either dead or on the surface of the Earth. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. No theories I have right now are actually giving them a happy ending. No theories I have right now are actually giving Bobby and Hunter a happy ending. Because then I wondered, oh, maybe Bobby and Hunter could have been like Deke's parents or something. But then apparently his mother got murdered when he was 9, so that means Bobby's dead. But then now we have, but then his dad, if his dad is Hunter, then if his dad is Hunter, then he could be on the surface of the Earth. But then he's also the guy's also. I mean, Hunter is, known to put on American accents in times of undercover safety and everything, but with this, the guy genuinely has an American accent, so it can't be Hunter. So then, yeah, but then if they were elders, if Bobby and Hunter were like last surviving, if Bobby and Hunter were not only the oldest surviving members of Shield, but then also the elders, then they're dead. I think. Well, I mean. But then I think he mentioned that I think the elders were sent to Earth. I think he mentioned the Kasai sent the elders to Earth or something. So I think yeah, I think they weren't specifically executed by them. I think they were sent to the surface of the Earth to expected to be roach food. But then if they survived if the elders actually survived and they're like with other non-elder Shield agents and they're like with other kind of beliefs of Shield and they've actually established a base on the surface of the Earth. Maybe Bobby and Hunter could still be alive. Maybe maybe they actually made it. Maybe something good happened to them. Maybe something happened. I don't know. But either way, I just can't help but think that if they really are in 2091, then 2091 we finally have a date then. So I think he said 2091, the Earth year 2091, so 2091. So we now have like an official kind of year. So I think so 70 odd years into the future. So yeah, honestly, it's a lot less cooler than thinking that like in the year 5000 or 3000 or anything like that. But still, I think still having them. So I think Deke. Yeah, I think Deke could. I feel like Deke could. Then I think Deke is barely even in. I think he's just about in his 20s. I think Deke like should just about be in his like late 20s at most. I think he could easily be the ancestor. He could easily be the descendants of Shield agents. He could easily be like the descendants of like any kind of Shield agents, like any Shield elders. I think his parents were believers in Shield and possibly even elders of Shield. So then, if that is true, then I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe. So I mean, yeah, but on the other hand, though, 2091 also isn't that. I mean, it's far, sure, so like 70 odd years ahead, but still, it's still close enough that it really makes you wonder. Like that's how. Again, it's not billions of years into the future. It's not like in the year 5000 or 3000 or whatever. So because of that, whatever happens, whatever extinction level event happens fairly quickly. It happens within the next few decades. So like there's really not like a lot of time to prepare for that to actually. I mean, a few decades should be enough to actually help humanity evacuate and to actually help build the bunker and everything. So that gives them time, but I think. In 2091, I don't know, I mean, they never confirmed it happened in 2091, but that's just where the team was sent. So there's no, like, for all we know, like, I think especially like the way Hunter described it too, like, you're going to the future, but then the world is about to be destroyed soon. So, there's like, I think for all we know, like, it could have easily happened in 2050, it could have happened in 2060 or 70 or 40 or 30 or something. So like there's no, I mean, for all they know, like the actual destruction could happen 10 years from then, 10 years from present day. But then 2091 is where the team is actually sent, and then by the time they get there, that kind of society with the Kree and the humans is already established, and it's already kind of working, and it's already like reached that point of adjustment and adaptation and everything. So because of that, it feels like it is a more recent thing, but it's clearly taken time for them to get there and to actually establish that kind of order and everything. So there's that whole thing, but to finally get like an answer like 2091 is if it feels good to actually finally have like some kind of like an actual to actually have like a pinpointed kind of a slightly pinpointed kind of time frame as to when the team is and when they've been sent and everything. So that's fun. And then again, some more characters, some more really interesting side characters that we haven't seen since season 3. We haven't seen them since the end of season 3. End of season 3 was when was the last time Daisy met with them before she went rogue with the gorgeous emo look and everything. You know, that after Lincoln's death, she went astray and started doing her own thing, and she actually kind of somewhat defected from Shield and everything. So the last time she did that, like she actually left the Robin thing for Robin, and she actually kind of like checked on them. Actually gave them some money. She actually gave them some money and everything. So that was the last time we saw them at the end of season 3. So we got them back in this episode. So that was cool. Hunter back in this, and now Polly and Robin too. I think I didn't immediately recognize him. I think it wasn't until I saw the little girl that I thought she seems familiar. And I think it's actually like a mother and a daughter as well. I think haven't we had a mother and a daughter on the show before? Like a mother and a really young daughter. And then I remembered, wait, is this Robin? Is her name Robin? And then I was trying to think back, and I was like, we've had a mother and a daughter on the show before. And the daughter's been really young, and she's basically been a kid. And then as wasn't there a story with like a dad who had a daughter, and then he had to leave her, and he had powers and everything, and he had to leave her and everything else. And then I was like, and then Fitz picked up the Robin kind of the sculpted the wooden sculpted Robin that she had that her father carved for her, and I think I was like, and then he recognized her, and he's like, oh, you're Robin. I was like, oh, Robin, the daughter of that inhuman, clairvoyant dude who kept seeing people dying and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, to be fair, I think it was imminent danger he saw. I think in general it was imminent threats and imminent danger. So I think it wasn't always death. I think because I think I remember he saw Coulson shooting someone in like a reflection in like a mirror's reflection. He saw Coulson shooting someone, but then that turned out to be him shooting a mirror. And then I think he saw Fitzsimmons holding hands, and then I think there was like some ash or snow. I think it seemed like snow at first, but then it was actually because the explosion up ahead actually kind of revealed to be ash, and then that happens. I think it's not always. I think it's not always death, but just kind of like imminent danger or imminent threats, or just like stuff that looks and seems ominous and stuff that isn't immediately. It's danger without context, basically. Like his visions were always danger without the context to it, so it always kind of put people on edge and kind of had the team kind of spending the entire episode trying to decipher how those visions connected and how those things actually kind of worked and everything. So yeah, but then he left behind a daughter and everything. So his daughter is inhuman. His daughter actually had the same inhuman genes that he had, and everything. And then she somehow, I think, well, not somehow. I think again the Terrigenesis, the Terrigen stuff was in the wasn't anything that was fish, like fish oil pills, fish food, any kind of like anything fish that people the potential Inhumans consumed, they would actually transform and everything. So unfortunately, Polly and Robin decided to have fish, or they decided to have fish in one way or another, and then Robin consumed the fish, and then she went through Terrigenesis. I think they rightfully pointed out that Robin was a child too. She was an actual child going through Terrigenesis. I mean, not the first time a child has gone through Terrigenesis. We had back in the Bahrain thing, the little girl there. I think her mother stole Terrigenesis crystals for her and actually put her through Terrigenesis because she believed it was her birthright, and it was actually her right to be able to embrace that side of herself and everything. So I think not the first time a child has gone through Terrigenesis, but I think with this time, this child being a lot less controlling is one benefit to it as well. So I think with this one, she just kind of sees the future and then kind of has the right people kind of working to work around it, or to actually influence it, or to prevent it, or whatever. So there's that whole thing. But yeah, she is a seer. She actually she could prophesy. She drew pictures that prophesied the future and everything. So really cool. I think that kind of thing too. I think that is always when it becomes either more creepy or more interesting. When kids in stories draw pictures that end up coming true, it's always either creepy or really interesting. There's almost never any in between. It's either creepy and like in like a horror movie, or in something like this that's like sci-fi. It's really interesting. So seeing that kind of come to life in this was really cool. Like seeing her prophesize various kind of things. Like even those two army agent people actually standing in the kitchen, and one of them with an apple. Like I think her holding the picture, visualizing them exactly as they were stood. That was a really cool kind of way to kind of really cement that drawing in time. And everything. That was a really cool display of just how accurate Robin's visions were. So there was that, and then there was another one that actually had the Earth in the center with stars surrounding it, but then the Earth actually had like an actual black grey kind of crack through it, actually showing it being torn apart and being quaked apart and everything. So she prophesied Earth being destroyed. And then there was another one. I think that there was another prophecy that finally allowed Enoch to actually kind of intervene and actually have him try and find a way to actually send Fitz through the future to actually meet up with the team again, because I think it was his job to save them. It was his job to save them, so I think he had to save them. I don't know. I'm gonna go back to that picture. I don't know what that picture showed. I do not know what that picture showed. It just showed something really ominous. It just showed honestly, that looks like it looks like two Slender Men. It looks like two Slender Men, or like two silences, or like two silences or something. But there's two other people standing in between them, and then there's like a dead body on the floor too. So I don't know what that's meant to entail. Like there's a dead body on the floor with blood all around it, and then there's two like black figures in like on either side with like white faces. So I think it's either the silence without a face, or is this? I mean, Slenderman has no face. Slenderman literally has no face. Not even like a hole where the mouth is supposed to be, but like he has no face. I think it's just like two alien Slendermen, and then two people kind of alive and well standing between them, like kind of like watching over a dead body. So I think whatever this is, he's either meant to prevent it or he's meant to save the team from meeting this fate. I have no idea who the people are meant to be either, so it's just like a really ominous picture with ominous quality to it and everything. So she's prophesizing that there's some kind of a death in the future he has to prepare for, or he has to actually try and prevent or something. So, and yeah, I think even them pointing out like for one thing, it's hard enough being a child having to live with those visions and having to see them. I think she sees it. I think she sees it without choice anyway. Like she sees it naturally, and then she ends up actually sketching it out as her outlet to get those visions out there and to get them to the right people. But then, I think with her dad, I think it probably only ever happened when he touched you. I think like his main fear was actually skin on skin contact and everything. Because I think if he touched someone, then that's when the visions would activate. So he couldn't really kind of touch people or actually come into contact with them without actually getting those visions. Without getting those visions, so it's why he had to leave his family, because he couldn't even give his daughter a freaking hug without both of them seeing someone dying, because then both people end up seeing the visions and everything. So there's that whole thing. But I think with his daughter, I think she just sees kind of general. I think she sees like general events. So I think she saw the agents, the army agents being at Enoch's house and discovering his place for the first time, and she saw all these different things, and she even actually saw the end of the earth. She saw the destruction of her freaking home planet and everything. So she saw that, and then she saw that Fitz had to be there for some kind of massacre or some kind of traumatic event and everything. So she sees all, both normal and bad, and she has to try and get it to out to the right people and everything. So she is just there. So poor Robin, she just wants she wanted a normal life with her dad, and then she lost her dad, and then now she wants a normal life with her mother, but now she's stuck with thanks to Terrigenesis, thanks to inhuman genes in Terrigenesis, she's now stuck seeing all sorts of weird shit happen, and she just kind of, her only outlet is art. So I mean, I doubt she's gonna grow up loving art, because I think because right now she's stuck drawing the most the weirdest and craziest kind of stuff. So I think I'm really doubting she's gonna grow up kind of loving or being passionate about art in any way. I mean, unless she finally is able to actually connect to art in the future in some kind of like a meaningful and creative way. But for now, she's just stuck drawing really kind of wacky and really prophetic kind of stuff. So not the best kind of thing to be doing. But yeah, poor Robin. Just hopefully even I mean, assuming they survived until 2091, which is kind of unlikely, but hopefully they did not die along with the Earth. Hopefully they actually found some sense of safety. And I think even Hunter even actually offered Hunter even offered to Enoch, like him and Bobby would take would take Polly and Robin in, and then Polly, right? I think, yeah, put Polly and Robin in. So I think he even actually promised that, he even said this will give Bobby some of that purpose she's been looking for, or this will give him and Bobby something to do. So then they actually swore to actually take them in and to look after them and to actually give them a safe place to be and all that kind of stuff. So knowing that then from there on in they're in good hands and they're in safe hands for as long as they all lasted. For as long as they all lasted, they were in good hands and safe hands and everything. So that much is reassuring. But yeah, I think overall, just a really great episode to get into. Really good to finally have finally get some explanation as to what happened to Fitz and seeing what he was up to and how he worked his way back to the team and who helped him along the way and who came back to be by his side through it all and everything. That was really fun. So yeah, great to have Hunter back. Absolutely great to have my boy Lance Hunter back in the game, even for an episode, and him doing his bits and him calling in some really shitty contacts that didn't really help, or helped even, at least minimalistically. They helped minimalistically, and then actually got him and Fitz got themselves through the rest of the way, and used Rusty's top-notch surveillance equipment to do it and everything. So that was cool. So it's good to see Hunter and Fitz back together again. Good seeing Hunter back and doing his thing. Good to finally meet Enoch too. Good to finally put like a name to his face and actually get some history to him too. Knowing he's a chronicom and he's a 30,000-year-old anthropologist and he's recording human history and all that kind of stuff. So good to finally find out what he's doing here and everything. And he sent the team into the future because they were needed. I think the girl actually mentioned, Robin actually mentioned that they're actually needed in the future to actually try and save the future and everything. So that's why they were sent there. And then now finally with a new drawing, Enoch manages to get Fitz into the future too. So yeah, yeah, this was a fun one. So I honestly don't know if I've really missed out on anything, if I've like misinterpreted something, or if I've missed out on any details, or if I've actually just kind of, again, initial viewing, initial thoughts, first time viewing, first time thoughts. So yeah, anything I have missed out on, and anything you feel like I've missed out on, anything I've misinterpreted, anything that hasn't been mentioned, comments are okay. Oh god, bit my cheek. Comments are open. Put your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you thought of this episode, and then I'd love to hear how you felt seeing Hunter back again for the first time in like 2.5 seasons and everything, in like a season and a half and everything. So really good to see, really good to hear what those thoughts are, and how you felt about finally having like a Fitz kind of centric episode for this one too. So yeah, let me know what you thought. So yeah, so for now, that is pretty much all I've got from this one. So yeah, that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Episode number 5. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn the like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Once again, full-length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, once again, happy holidays, one and all. Regardless of whether you do celebrate the holidays or not, if you have or if you haven't, or whoever you've done it with, just happy holidays. Hope you had a great day. Hope you had a great evening, and hopefully this, this among other videos could have actually could have hopefully contributed to having a nice and entertaining kind of evening or day or afternoon or whatever. So hopefully you're all doing well. Hopefully you've had a great kind of holiday season as well, like a great kind of holiday break, and I will see you all in the new year with some new fresh reactions and hopefully a better schedule. But yeah, thank you for supporting me and the videos and the channel for all this time, and for being here to enjoy me crying and laughing and cheering through all these reactions, and enjoying this among many other shows and movies and everything else that the wonderful world of pop culture has to offer. So yeah, I'll see you all very, very soon. So until then, take care.